struggle of making the big decision of where will I go to college. For me, it was important that I find a school that has its own traditions and history behind it, but also a school that gives me the opportunity to meet new people, make new friends, that allows me to get involved, and has plenty of major options, especially for those of us who change their minds a lot, like I have. I also really wanted a school that was welcoming and a place that I could potentially call my home away from home. I looked at several schools, but the one that stood out the most to me was KU. Growing up, I would always go up to KU, just touring and visiting. And when I was little, I'd go to the KU football games with my dad and just seeing all of that, and just being around all of that, and even going to the KU basketball games, just seeing all the students and the student life there and how exciting everything was. It just made me even more in love with KU. Anyways, all of my siblings also went to school there, and I'd grow up going and visiting them too. And so I just fell in love with all the people, their friends, and just how KU works. And it was just awesome to see that. And visiting as a junior and senior in high school, it really was crazy just seeing everything and how I could potentially be there and be involved with everything that's at KU, and it made me just want to go there even more. Um, KU has a lot of history and traditions to it. It started out with Bleeding Kansas, and according to a PBS article over Bleeding Kansas, in May of 1854, a bill was passed that allowed states to decide whether or not they would be a slavery state. Because of this bill, Missouri, which was a slave state, attacked Lawrence, which was held the Free State Legislature, and burned down the Free State Hotel and most of Lawrence. Because of this, John Brown, an abolitionist, and his four sons attacked and took back Lawrence. Because of this, KU, up until this year, has had a major school rivalry with the University of Missouri. At basketball games, you would find students dressed up as John Brown and have signs about the Lawrence Massacre. And here's an example from the last Missouri K-State or Missouri KU game, where a guy's dressed up as John Brown. Kind of funny, but the Jayhawk also has to do with this. The people who opposed slavery called themselves the Jayhawkers, and it's supposedly a mythical creature that combines a sparrow, hawk, and a blue jay. And the first mascot looked like a blue jay, and they've since then transformed it into what it is now. The Rock Chalk chant also kind of comes around this time. In 1886, the chemistry professor, Bailey, he started the chant for a chemistry club, and it used to be rah rah Jayhawk Jayhawk, and they would yell that several times. And soon they changed it to Rock Chalk due to the fact that KU was built on a limestone foundation, and they started chanting the Rock Chalk chant. At the beginning of games, you will hear students sing the alma mater, and then which leads into the Rock Chalk chant. And at the end of games, especially in Allen Fieldhouse, if we win, we slowly yell Rock Chalk Jayhawk KU, and it's almost eerie hearing everyone yell it, and it always gives me goosebumps from that. There's also a lot of diversity on KU's campus and the activities that you can join. There's plenty of philanthropy and student government opportunities, and me personally, I'm involved in the Greek life, and there's also tons of sports that you can get involved with. In the philanthropy, there are millions of opportunities to get involved. I personally have been involved in several of these activities, including HUG, which is Helping Unite Generations, where you go to nursing homes and you get to play bingo and all sorts of stuff and get to know the old people, and it's really fun and interesting to see where all of these people came from and their backgrounds, and you can ask them anything and they're more than willing to talk to you about it. I met a guy named George, and he was probably one of the sweetest people I've ever met, but I was talking to him, and he told me about how he was in World War II, and his plane got shot down, and he was actually a prisoner of war, and he was telling me about his experience, and it was just so cool to hear how he had gone through all of that, and he he had almost died from it all. Um, and they're also willing to give you any advice that you need for anything. I talked to them about tons of different things about where they went to school and how they decided what they ended up wanting to do, and it actually helped me with some of the things I wanted to do. There's also KU Dance Marathon, which raises money for the local Children's Miracle Network Hospital. And you basically spend 12 hours dancing and playing games and eating and all sorts of stuff, and you get to hang out with the kids and their families and just join in the fun and all that. And I actually have a shirt from my freshman year of doing that. But it was just really fun. You all get T-shirts, and this year they had a clue theme, and you had to figure out who was the murderer and all that.